have a little tree here signifying that the holidays are with us. And as the holiday begins, many are starting to make plans to visit family, friends, and loved ones to spread the holiday cheer. As we anticipate those trips, safety on the roads becomes a major priority concern for all of us. So tonight, our guests are from the National Road Safety Authority and the Ghana Police Service, and they will provide us with important road safety tips for staying safe during the holiday season and, of course, beyond. We will also touch on the ongoing nationwide road safety campaign, Staying Alive, that was launched by the National Road Safety Authority. We encourage you to join in the discussion using our WhatsApp number 055-744-6429. Our panelists tonight are on my immediate left, Engineer David Osafo Adonting. He's the Director of Planning and Programs for the National Road Safety Authority. Welcome with us.
Thank you.
And next to him is Superintendent Alexander Obeng. He's a regular when we have topics such as these. Welcome back. He's the Director of Public Relations at the Ghana Police Service. So welcome, Superintendent.
Thank you.
So if I can start with you, Superintendent. Like I said earlier in the introduction, another holiday is rolling around. People are getting in their vehicles more. And even if you look in Accra right now, the traffic is becoming really congested. For you, when the holiday season rolls along, what kind of general advice would you have for people who are going to be getting in their cars and onto the road?
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you for the opportunity. And good evening to listeners and viewers. I think what is critical for us is that as a country, we are confronted, if you look at January to November, for example, with road safety challenges that is manifesting itself in preventable crashes, associated deaths and injuries to our compatriots. That around this time we are talking about 2,600 dying, which is very unfortunate. And it is in this vein that I'll premise my discourse that as a service, one of our primary objectives, so far as the Constitution and our mandate is concerned, is to partner and put in place preventive and proactive measures that will protect lives and property, and in this case, even on the roads. And we're looking also at what happened last year, same period, for example, because last year with the strategies that we put in place with our partners, we were able to manage the Christmas in a peaceful manner. That we're going to repeat and intensify it. And you could see around the country that the Inspector General of Police, Dr. George Akufu Dampare, leading police administration, have put in certain proactive and reactive strategies before, during, and after 2021 Yuletide. And that's why we see a lot of police officers deployed, saturating our jurisdiction, particularly where we know, because of the crime mapping that we've done, that there are incidents that if you don't put in such proactive measures, it can manifest itself in threatening lives and property. And when you look at Accra, for example, almost all junctions, you see uniformed police officers. Some are doing static security service provision. Others are on mobile, i.e. on motorcycles, and some are also on vehicle patrols. And you also have put in place a system where traffic police will be everywhere during rush hours to ensure, and work deep into the night to ensure that the general public, traveling public, the motorists will have high sense of peace. In addition, if you see, for the past 2 weeks, together with our partners, I'm talking about National Road Safety Authority, with the launching of the Stay Alive in all our 18 police regions in Ghana, the regional commands, together with the motor traffic and transport department officers, have teamed up with National Road Safety Authority and DVLA, and of course transport operators, emulating what, for example, the Inspector General of Police has been doing since his touring. That everywhere he goes in every region, he makes efforts to meet with all commercial transport operators. Because in times like this, they are our frontline officers. They maintain the car on behalf of the even absentee vehicle owners. They ensure that such vehicles are deployed at stations. They ensure that even conductors are engaged. They ensure that the vehicles are loaded and persons board the vehicle. And they ensure that they move on the road and engage the passengers along. So issues that deal with crashes, most of the times we are looking at in-traffic behavior. And therefore it is in this light that everywhere the Inspector General of Police, for example, goes with his team, he engages transport operators. And this can be attested to by transport operators in the Western region, in the Ashanti region, and in many areas that he has visited. And he's saying this in connection with what is going on with the launch. That the all police they see a massive police participation. And I believe with this engagement with transport operators, i.e. Metromas, STC, JPIT, Cooperative, Protoa, telling them that if there's anything to do to support Ghana and police and national road safety and all, it is that you ensure that safer vehicles are deployed. Drivers who are licensed are all behind the steering wheel. And knowing very well that they are not alone, that police are also at strategic duty point, nocturnally and diurnally to support them. And this is our strategy of proactive and reactive that we are engaged with our partners.
Thank you so much. Engineer, I wanted to, Superintendent mentioned preventive and proactive measures. And I think the national campaign that you have, Staying Alive, is very appropriate. And actually, many people, all of us should take it literally, I think, this season. What would you like to say about why that campaign is so important and what we should be the takeaways from that campaign?
Right, thank you very much. And good evening to all Ghanaians. I wish everybody Merry Christmas in advance. Indeed, this year has not been too good at all for Ghana when it comes to road crashes and fatalities and injuries. Because as Supo said, as at November ending, we have already recorded 2,608 deaths. Compared to the last 10 years or 20 years, I think it's unprecedented. This is about the highest we have recorded so far in the history of Ghana. It is in the vein of this that we launched the Stay Alive Road Safety Campaign. Indeed, the campaign is seeking to scale up road safety awareness creation and then advocacy. And our target is generally the road user. How the road user will conduct and comport himself within the road space. First of all, taking the responsibility on his own, that you don't look at somebody to give you safety, but the safety starts with you. We're expecting road users, as number one, to be themselves road safety advocates and to demonstrate commitment to responsibility and discipline. I think we have time and time and again met around this table and we have indicated that it is not like we do not know what created all these problems for us as far as safety is concerned. We have talked about the human indiscipline, the human error. We talk about speeding, we talk about wrongful overtaking, driving tired, driving under the influence of alcohol, not wearing of seat belts, not wearing of helmets, and others put together. These are all man-made. And that is why I think my good friend Supo is talking about preventive. We can do so much to prevent these crashes because they are preventable. And so our target is, first of all, to speak to the conscience of road users, to, within the road space, to demonstrate discipline. So discipline is one. And then also to advocate for institutions, like all stakeholders who play roles in the road safety space, to also remain committed to doing their part as far as the road infrastructure is concerned, as far as road traffic regulations and enforcement is concerned, the DVLA's regulation of the vehicle is concerned, and transport operators. I think that so far, so good, because we have used the media system, the traditional and the social media system, to propagate the message. I must thank the media, Ghana's media, so much that after the launch of the campaign, we have seen a lot more of the media coming to partner with us to use their corporate social responsibility to drive the messages across the country. And I think this is a very good sign. Much as we are advocating, educating, and speaking to the conscience of the individuals, we are also partnering with the Ghana Police Service, the MTTD, to support us with enforcement of the regulations. Indeed, we have always said that if you keep talking and you don't back it with action, then you will not be meeting the objectives. So the National Road Safety Authority, in addition to the education and the advocacy and the enforcement that is being driven by the Ghana Police Service, the MTTD, our road safety inspectors are also on the ground. In fact, they are now at most of the transport terminals. And the good thing they are doing is that this time round, they are partnering with the transport operators to inspect the vehicles. We call it pre-departure checks. So before the vehicle moves out of the terminal to hit the road, we would have inspected it, look at the tires, look at the lighting system, and even interact with the driver, whoever will be moving the vehicle from the lorry terminal, to see if he's really indeed ready for the journey. Because some of them, you may find them driving so tired, some of them perhaps taking in alcohol, or you can find some of them also not ready. You can see from their frame. So we discuss with them, we talk to them to see if they have rested enough before they hit the road running. Now, even whilst on the road traveling, we still have our men stationed at certain strategic locations along the road network across the country who are also monitoring their behavior and their movement to identify and detect certain misbehaviors, and then we act quickly to prevent the crashes before any mishap could happen to Ghana. But you know what? When it gets to this season, a lot more people are traveling. In fact, it's Christmas, and you must expect it. People fear to travel because of the history of Ghana when it comes to this Yellowtide. What it means is that people are going to travel to their destinations to buy, sell, do business, visit families. But it's happened before that a lot more of them will not get to their destinations. And so they are afraid, they are apprehensive. I think we are giving hope to people that this time around we are ready. We have populated the entire road safety space to make sure that we will not see what the situation what used to be in the past. People should be confident. But that is only when they comply with the rules and regulations within the road space. You don't just go there to misbehave. It's an area that everybody is also there, trying to do one thing or the other. There is interaction, a lot more conflicts and so on. But if you do well to protect yourself by doing what is right, all the rules and regulations and tips have been put out there, the media and social media. People are reading them. So it is one thing reading. But I think that what is important is for you to apply whilst you're on the road. Gone are the days when people were thinking that around this time, they point fingers and hands at the devil and say that it will happen anyway. No matter how you comply with the rules and regulations, it will happen. And they try to attribute to some forces or kind of deity from somewhere. We want to take advantage of this opportunity under the Stay Alive campaign, that it is not any devil from anywhere. It is the individual, it is yourself. Indeed, if you think that it is coming from the devil, then stop doing the work for the devil. And the work of the devil is that you will speed beyond limits as if you want to fly. Go and see what is happening on the Accra-Kumasi Highway, on the Cape Coast Highway, on their Flower Highway, people are driving as if they are flying aircrafts. They are overtaking without due care to approaching vehicles. In fact, a typical driver would want to overtake 10 vehicles ahead of him at the same time. All these things, then if you believe in the fact that it is the devil, then you are doing the work for the devil. I think that we should now see that it is our responsibility. Our actions and inactions are the ones that are dictating and determining whether there should be a crash and the severity and so on. So we are using Stay Alive to conscientize people, speak to their minds and their mindsets to be responsible.
Okay. So I wanted to, you talked about the safety tips, you've said a lot, but I wanted us to practicalize the discussion to make it more pragmatic, you know, because you talk about the fact that people are speeding on the roads, you know, and in the past, there weren't rest areas, there weren't restaurants, there weren't all those things on the road. So one would understand that, you know, everybody gets in the car and is focused on the destination. But now when people are traveling, shouldn't they rather try and make it a leisurely trip, drive for a couple of hours, take a rest maybe, you know, before they continue? Those kinds of things that maybe you could recommend that we embed in our traveling schedule to make it more relaxed and less tense, Superintendent. What do you?
Yes, I think that this also is driven by data. See, the behavior plays much role when it comes to trying to ensure that there is mobility without risk. And when you look at for our data, for example, in terms of such behaviors, the whole of this year, for example, and compare with the same, we realize that we have significantly made a lot of arrests of recalcitrant, some repeat offenders, and as many as
I think 416 cases went to court.
About 4,443 persons have been convicted so far. And this is about almost 150% over the same period last
year.
And that indicates to you police capacity. But that is not the only thing. We go beyond it. And it's in this light that I believe you pose that question. And I think that as road safety advocates and implementers of course, whatever we do should be data-led. And based on this, it's clear. Because when you look at it, the behaviors are clear. Some have to do with excessive speeding behavior. Some have to do with non-maintenance of vehicle. Some have to do with jaywalking. And when you look at the crash data, there are lots that are dying as a result of use of motorcycle. And you know the kind of behavior that pillion riders and riders are putting up and all that. Therefore, in most of these interventions that are coming up, not only the proactive, our partnership at lorry parks, at a television studio like here, and radio station, and on social media, and on one-on-one and all over, is basically targeting in certain instance the vehicle owner to ensure that the vehicle that they so own and depend on, both private and commercial, both passenger carrying and goods, are well maintained. Because maintenance of vehicle plays a major role when it comes to road crashes.
Interesting.
So it has been critical part of our intervention that we put in our collaboration at the lab. Again, if you look at drivers, like I said, they are frontline officers. How the vehicle are maintained, you give it to a licensed person. And that licensed person may have been in a very good, mental condition. And then we also have been well trained. And I believe it's in this light that, as partners, efforts are ongoing to ensure that drivers, particularly commercial drivers, are given continual driver training, capacity building, and all that. And I believe it's in this light that, to a very large extent, most of the lorry parks, you see a lot of visits going on, and sensitization targeting commercial drivers in particular. And all these, what is it that we are engaging them on? To remind them constantly that they have a responsibility to protect lives and property, particularly in traffic behavior, watering them down. How do they, for example, share the road? Where are they supposed to overtake? You keep on emphasizing it that if you're a driver and you embark on a trip, you should be in good mental condition, no stress. Again, your posture should be that you should be the road safety ambassador by wearing your seat as a driver. Your seat has it. And that you should give due recognition and respect to passengers, because they are free consultants on the road with you at the time, who will indicate to you, that will give you feedback in terms of how you are maneuvering, how you are tailgating, how unlawfully you want to overtake in column, or overtake about 4 or 5 cars at a go. And is this that, for example, last Thursday led to last Thursday 8 a.m. one Toyota Hiace driver at Achim Enyinasim, Kumasi bound, wanted to overtake 3 vehicles at a time in a curve, and he's not able to do it. He failed all of us, crashed headlong, and on the spot so many people died. And it is this that we keep on emphasizing, that these are the things that we say as a result of the behavior that we have recorded as a result of our post-crash analysis. And therefore, drivers are supposed to moderate in their speeds in times like this, because, as Mr. Dontain said, we have so many unusual road users who are coming on the road. Those who travel near and wide are entering the Republic. So many vehicles, they will board. There will be more journeys that will be embarked upon by individual drivers. There's likelihood that as they move, there will be congestion, even on highways. Congestion, even between Accra and Kumasi, there will be congestion. Even between Accra and Cape Coast, there will be congestion on the highway, because there are unusual road users who are merrymaking, who are on the road, who are on their pursuits. Therefore, you think that whilst drivers are being admonished, passengers are also entreated to wear their seatbelt at all times. Again, we also keep on emphasizing at our lorry parks and wherever we engage that all of us, whether you are a vehicle owner, whether you are a driver, whether you are a passenger, whoever, at one time or the other, in the course of the clock, you become a pedestrian. And when you look at the data, a lot of pedestrians are dying. And therefore, in Ghana since 1974, we drive on the right. And the passengers who are light or persons who are about as pedestrians walk on the left. You don't allow your back to be facing oncoming vehicle. And therefore, with this composite integrated approach in terms of sensitization and awareness creation, I think in times like this, when the media is so flexible with us, when our media partners give as part of their corporate social responsibility, give a lot of airtime, space for road safety implementers and educators and advocates, I think we will continue to sustain this sharing of this information. And I believe it will go a very long way, because at times like this, when there is peace, families are gathering, people will be glued to their TV and radio sets and social media platform and listen to some of these things. And it will go a very long way, because it is not only stringent enforcement that ensures compliance. It is also when you combine it in a way and manner that you are talking about, so that sensitization and stringent enforcement will elicit and produce safer road users and will promote public health and safety.
Okay, so we've talked a lot about the driver, the person behind the wheel, but there are also other factors like the condition of the roads and stuff like that also contribute. So I read a very interesting and very profound, I thought, statement from NSRA. It said faulty traffic lights undermine the desire to influence an efficient movement of vehicles and pedestrians to minimize the potential conflicts and possible clashes. So that you've acknowledged that that is a problem. What are you doing? And of course, the conditions of the road. How proactive are you in liaising with the relevant authorities to minimize the, like you said, efficient movement of vehicles and pedestrians with these things that many of us have no control over?
Yeah, indeed. If you look at the road safety space, it's an interaction between human beings the vehicles and the road infrastructure, and other factors. But these are the three main components. Now, I think in the past, we have dwelled so much on the human aspect because, of course, if you look at, as I said, data, human aspect contributes to over 90% of the crashes. And so we have worked so much through sensitization, engagement, consultation, and advocacy to try to tune the human mindset, to behave very well within the space. But we are not also losing the fact that the road infrastructure and the vehicle aspect also are very crucial. In recent times, the National Road Safety Authority is trying to now come up with certain directives to more or less activate the authority status that have been bestowed on us by government. Remember, we used to be a commission?
Yes.
And we all spoke about it, advocated for some powers to be able to address that infrastructure and vehicle-related problems. Indeed, these are areas that are controlled by other institutions who are also authorities. For example, Ghana Highway Authority is in charge of the design, construction, and maintenance of the road infrastructure, while the DVLA, also an authority, looks at the vehicles, structural integrity, and so on. Now, you will need perhaps some stronger and better laws to guide you and to strengthen your capacity to be able to harness the collaboration from these institutions, the police even in particular. Now, the law that set up the National Road Safety Authority and the LI that is coming up very soon to be passed by Parliament has mandated the institution to be able to interrogate the actions and inactions of such institutions that play critical roles in the road safety management chain. In recent times, we issued some directives to the transport operators, an industry that the law has provided now that the National Road Safety Authority will be the regulator. Those directives, including they using 2 drivers for long distances.
Oh, great.
Remember that.
Okay.
And those, we meant journeys that are 500 kilometers and above, or if you are driving through about 8 hours to get to your destination, use 2 drivers and a few others. Use logbooks. Get your vehicle retro-reflective tapes around the vehicles. Your speed limits, training of drivers, and so on. But in particular, the one with the 2 drivers, it's running gradually. We've seen a couple of transport operators operating with 2 drivers along their journeys, which is very good. But there are a few of them that are not. If you come to the road sector, we have identified that certain critical components that should support human behavior are not functioning. I'm talking about street lights, and I'm talking about the traffic lights at intersections. We call it traffic signals. We are not saying the road agencies are not working. No, they are. But there are gaps. These 2 gaps are issues that we keep receiving complaints from the general public, especially drivers. This clearly suggests that we are not looking at one direction only, perhaps always blaming the drivers, but we are looking at other ways of bringing all of us together to solve one particular problem. Now, the drivers have complained in the night. If you hit our roads and highways, you don't see anything. Our roads are already black. Now, you hit the cities and even on the highways west. Unfortunately, there are these street lights that have been installed all across. Why are they not functioning? Sometimes you interrogate the issue, and what you hear is that it's maintenance. Some bulbs need to be replaced. Some cables have been vandalized, and so on. And so on. And I think these are issues that can be addressed so quickly without any hassle. But you still find our streets so dark. Now, what it means is that if a pedestrian is crossing a road or walking along the road, a driver may not identify or see him, hit him, and then kill him or something. And that is what Supo is talking about. The number of pedestrians that have been hit, some of them dead, injured so severely that they cannot contribute to or meaningfully to any development in the country again. It means that we have to look at these areas. So we have issued a directive. It is more like a notice or an alert to these institutions, especially the Ministry of Energy, who is responsible for the installation and maintenance or management of street lights in the country that they should set up. They should try and see how they can maintain all the street lights so that they can function. The drivers will now have a clear space to run. Pedestrians can also now be visible. They can cross roads as where they are supposed to. So, Ministry of Energy, we have issued that alertness so that you can come up and improve the street light situation especially in the cities of Accra, Kumasi, and Takoradi. Then we came up also with our Department of Urban Roads.
Let me take a quick break, and
Yes.
I'll have you land when you come back. This is Talking Point. Thank you so much for being with us. We'll take a quick break. We'll be right back.
And Android TVs and UHD TVs come in all sizes. We have 4 to 6 burner gas cookers with 2 hot plates, grill and oven. We also have top load and front load washing machines. Trust me, you will love our refrigerators. We have double door and side-by-side fridges. And for freezers, you can get 150 to 950 liters double door freezers. And these Broom air conditioners are of high quality and energy efficient.
Wow, Broom, that's impressive.
For your Broom appliances, visit any Electromart outlet or shop online on www.broom.com or follow Broom on Facebook and on Instagram. Broom.
Welcome back. This is Talking Points on GTV and GBC. Our topic tonight is road safety towards an accident-free season. And my studio guest tonight, on my immediate left, Engineer David Osafo Adonting. He's Director of Planning and Programs for the National Road Safety Authority. And my far left is Superintendent Alexander Obeng, Director of Public Relations for the Ghana Police Service. So before we went on break, Engineer, you were trying to finalize your...
Exactly.
Okay.
So the second alert we have also issued is to our friends from the Engineers Department of Urban Roads, who also control the traffic signals at intersections. You know what it means when you get to an intersection and the lights are not functioning. There's so much, congestion. The whole place gets blocked. Nobody can move, and it has so many safety implications. This is also an alert that we have issued. It is our expectation that these two institutions will be up and doing, move very quickly, and deal with these problems as we enter Christmas and beyond. I must use this opportunity to thank our good friends from the police. Particularly, I think Mr. IGP, Dr. Dampare, for the good works he's doing. I'm sure that entering into, we have seen a lot of policemen on the streets, managing traffic. Of course, in this congestion, you need their effort. We have also seen them on the highways, improved patrols. We think that so far so good, if they can sustain it, which I have every trust in him, because Mr. Dampare is already demonstrating that commitment to safety and security. I'm sure we need to support him and give him all the necessary encouragement to help us, because we need a champion in that space. You cannot do education and advocacy all this work without enforcement. You tend to be an entertainer. So we think that, Dr. Dampare, wherever you are, I greet you, I salute you. Please support us with your men. Let's do more, because Ghana needs us. And this is a time we must demonstrate to Ghana that we are there for them. Okay. Going into Christmas, we must be responsible. Don't let us point hands at any devil. It is stay alive. Christmas is sweet. You will enjoy it only when you stay alive. And so we should do everything we can, education, enforcement, discipline, responsibility, driving well, walking well, crossing the road well, sitting on your motorcycle, your helmet, your seatbelt, and all that. And I can assure you that we can always go and come back safely.
Amen. Okay, so Superintendent, let's talk about the Okada drivers. Because I think they also pose a health risk because they don't even obey traffic regulations, So there's an uneasy relationship sometimes between drivers of vehicles and those on the motorcycles. What does your research tell you, and what can you give in terms of advice going into this holiday season?
Thank you very much. Once again, road safety is always guided by evidence. And that was the thriving premise on which the decade of action was developed and designed and planned for execution since 2011. And therefore, if you look at that plan in particular, the emphasis on it by our forebears was to protect vulnerable road users. And the vulnerable road users were anticipated in 2011 at the UN, which we incorporated in our law in 2011, that vulnerable road users included motorcycle occupants, i.e. the motorcycle rider and the pillion riders, because they are vulnerable. Why? Because if you look at that time, you look in our law, our forebears said in Ghana, way back in 1974, that because motorcycles have open sides, it could never be used for commercial purpose, i.e. to carry fare-paying passengers. And because of our recalcitrance and non-compliance with our own rules and regulations, we can see, if you look at the data, and it reinforces your question, that so far, out of 2,608 that have died, fewer motorcycles have killed 1,140 road users on our road. And it is a cancer or canker that lacks cauterization capacity by the state, and therefore all of us, and currently when you look at what UN is doing under the second decade of action for road safety, 2030 to 2020 to 2030, is looking at army of road safety implementers. It can never be only police. It can never be only national road safety body. It includes and it encapsulates under it advocates, what do you call, broadcasters, journalists, and all hands on deck, because we are confronted with a very serious pandemic when it comes to motorcycle use. Because it comes from the fact that first, the machine is not designed to be used for such commercial activity. If it is established, then we progress. And for now, it is obvious how it is impacting on the youth and the general public. For us, we continue to do the swoops. We continue to target those who don't have license A and are on it riding. We continue to swoop and also even incorporate in our sensitization of our partners the fact that those who are not wearing protective clothing stands in conflict with the law of LI 2020 Regulation 128, among others, that you have to put on your helmets, you have to have riding boots, at least, and you have to ride it like any other vehicle driver. Okay, because you are licensed to drive or ride on the right, to pick one passenger or one occupant, pillion rider at a time, and to ensure that you come to compliance with signal control, what do you call, regulatory devices, i.e. Road marking, and then traffic lights, that when it is amber and red, it means it welcomes everybody to halt at the stop line. This has been difficult to achieve. You are not supposed to ride on the left facing oncoming vehicle. You are not supposed to use one way and you are not supposed to move on it. You are supposed to reduce speed, because town is 50, it doesn't matter the vehicle you are using. Below. And the fact that incompetent underage riders are using these devices as if they are family artifacts that has been bequeathed to them by their families, and therefore they have the right to ride it to wherever they want to go. Meanwhile, they are disqualified or they are prohibited. This has been a challenge, and I think that finding solution to cauterize it should involve all stakeholders, because per our law, what all of us are using the motorcycle for is prohibited.
Okay.
And so we have to do soul search so that the country will take a bold decision. Okay? On our part, you are aware that these motorcycles are easy to acquire. They are easy to be moved because one rider can learn it today and move it. And so that, and therefore its pronounced use even extend from this safety thing you are talking about to public issues of security. That people are adopting it as vehicles to commit crime. Recent bank robberies and all that were committed. These were the vehicles that were used. And therefore, it is a challenge, and whilst law enforcement are finding solutions to ensure that these are not adapted to commit other crimes, when it comes to public safety in terms of use of the road, it is that our laws are inadequate. The capacity of implementing policies regarding motorcycle and enforcement is also weak. And therefore, as a country, we must find out how far we have come, because we started in 2012, and what have we not been able to do, so that we will do this evaluation and bring new measures in addition to what we have been doing, so that we will learn from best practice and move on. Okay. Otherwise, the data is indicating a continuous surge.
Wow.
Because if last year we were talking about 700, by November, we are talking about 1,140 motorcycle alone, killing almost 40% of all road fatalities. And it's a challenge for all of us.
Okay, so let me read some comments that have come in. My point is this: there are big trucks that break down and contribute to a lot of traffic. What measures have been taken to tackle it for this season? My suggestion is that when such things occur, please let the police tow the truck and let them pay the cost so that we can have free flow of traffic. There are lots of points, so I'll read them, and then when I finish, then we can. Good evening. I didn't tune in early, but I want to ask what's being done about street lights. I think that reinforces your thing. Okay. There are no street lights in most places, and I witnessed a car kill 4 people to death right in front of the military camp. First gate, no lights are on the entire stretch, and people are just dying. The drivers should not drink when they are driving. They should avoid overtaking. Well done, GTV, for hosting Superintendent Alexander Bing, for educating the public about road safety. And this is from Rashid at Adenta. My suggestion is that since majority of drivers are the main cause of accidents in Ghana, any driver who survives an accident should be jailed to make them cautious when driving. Good evening. I'm watching your discussion right now, and whatever you people are saying is true, but you know our roads is not double roads. It's a car going and a car coming. So to my contribution, the white identification should be done. The white identification should be done on the roads for drivers to know their prospective lanes. Good evening, Madam. I want to find out from the road safety officer whether there is a law that mandates incoming vehicles to help convey casualties to hospitals during accidents. I witnessed a situation where no vehicle was prepared to stop at an accident scene to support. And this is from Asamoah in Accra. And then, hello, I beg to differ. Do you want to wait till the Yuletide season before you come up with education? Do you wait till Xmas before you are paid your monthly wages? This is from Kweku Foster. And finally, Superintendent Obeng, thanks for the update. The new IGP has met several stakeholders. However, I'm yet to hear and learn of him engaging NRSA. When do you plan that? As I can envisage, they have much under their sleeves for the IGP, especially the police living by example. And this is from Osei Kwabna from Ifiduasi in Ashanti. So let me begin with you, Superintendent, and go back to the big cars and the double lanes or lack of double lanes, if you could address that.
Yeah, okay. I think that, thank you very much for our colleagues listening and sharing ideas with us. We highly appreciate. But a lot of these things are being done. There's a particular case where some crashes were recorded this year, people driving into disabled vehicles. I know when it comes to that topic, if you give us a whole 1 hour, 2 hours, we cannot exhaust. It's a big issue. But what we are doing this time round, between now, Christmas and New Year, very quickly, is that we have come up with a short code, 194. That's the National Road Safety Authority, and it's a road safety kind of short code, 194, or network. We are activating it this week. Anybody who, within the road space, you come across a vehicle that is disabled or abandoned in a position that could cause death or injury, a crash, just call that number. It will come to us, we will liaise with the police and deal with it accordingly. We are even extending that short code to include people using their phones to take a video or a photo of a certain situation within the road space, risky, dangerous, including the disabled or abandoned vehicles, driver misbehavior, a certain obstruction within the roadway. Just take a photo, take a video, and send to the code 194, which will come to our system, and we will move very quickly to deal with it before a crash occurs.
Okay.
Now, we are using the Stay Alive also to advocate for changes in so many things, including the roadway. We're engaging our stakeholders, the Ghana Highway Authority, the Minister of Roads and Highways, and the ministry, the entire ministry, to see how we can quickly operationalize the policy of expanding the road network so that we can see the light in the dualization thing we've been talking about all this while. Dualization will be coming. I know it will come, because the extent of engagement with the Minister of Roads and Highways is so clear that in the coming months, we will see some of these roads already being dualized. So people must have patience. It may take some time, but we'll have it eventually anyway. But our worry is that in the meantime, this is what we have. You cannot have dualization in the next 1 month or two. So let's make do with what we have. But we should try and operate within the laws, as Supo is saying. If you want to do overtaking, you know you are on a single carriageway. You cannot take somebody's lane like people do now. You must do the overtaking by not doing in a curve or on a hill, like it happened in recent times, where there have been series of head-on collisions. So I think drivers in particular should try and operate within the road space with the laws that is governing our roads. You let us look at dualization, and I believe government will do that in the course of time.
Okay.
But moving into Christmas and New Year again, I would want to salute the staff of National Road Safety Authority and our advocates, including everybody, the police and stakeholders, who are at the front line currently, day and night, working around the clock to protect life and property. We're everywhere. I salute you all. I salute also Yana. You know, Yana has come out with a directive, a kind of an advocacy message. And we salute him for going that far. He has already called for responsibility, respecting the rules and regulations, and they're being disciplined. We also salute Asante Hene Osetutu, who is one of our ambassadors also. And all of the people who are helping us, the media. But let me sound a warning to drivers that this time round, it may not be like the past. We are not going to leave people to do their own thing the way they are doing it or they used to do. No, because the police, they are with us. And whoever misbehaves, we will arrest you. We will bring you to book. Kwagu, is that not the case? Because now there are even cameras that have been located strategically. And the police is watching, monitoring all the time. Okay. So if you misbehave, you'll be identified, you'll be detected, and they will deal with you. So drivers should be very, very, very careful. This time around, don't think that it will be like the past where you do your own thing. Please be responsible, be alert, so that you don't keep killing the people. Okay. Passengers, lastly, perhaps.
Okay. All right.
Please, don't just sit in the vehicle, just do the sign of cross and think you have finished. Watch the drivers. Keep watching them. If any driver is misbehaving, for that matter, excessive speeding, wrongful overtaking, driving tired, under the influence of alcohol, which I believe the police will be there to use all the necessary devices to test them, especially alcohol. If any of you should drink alcohol or take a certain drug, the police have machines and systems to detect on the road. But I can assure you that if you misbehave, I don't think you will go scot-free.
Okay.
And we'll have to deal with you.
All right, so Superintendent, you know, one of the questions was about accidents and people not stopping. I think on one of the shows you were on with a lady from Kolebu, a doctor from Kolebu, we had talked about the inherent dangers and possibly even moving an injured person. So what do you advise when those things occur? If somebody sees an accident, I know you've given us the number 194 for broken down vehicles. Yes. I don't know if there's a similar number for accidents that people can call to make sure that the police, the ambulance, or folks like that can show up.
First of all, as part of our state preparedness, and as part of the pillars that is underlying Decade of Action for Road Safety, which is a major policy that the state is implementing under the National Road Safety Strategy 3, which police is also playing a pivotal role. There is emergency medical response, preparedness of the state. And that's why we have the National Ambulance Service, now authority. Yeah. And now we also have, for example, the towing system that is also being developed. Okay. And we have Ghana Police Service. And implementing department is Motor Traffic and Transport Department, partnering. And that's why you also have these beacon light and sirens equipped in these vehicles. And that's why constantly, as part of sensitization strategy, everywhere you hear from police, you hear from National Road Safety Authority and all media houses saying that in case of a crash, one person cannot solve that problem, because immediately you will not be able to do all that is required to stabilize and save life, which is in immediate danger or need support. Therefore, calling 112, dialing free toll free, dialing 191 is free. Ghana has paid for it. 18555, and in certain instances we add 0302 773 906, and these numbers have to be saved as we are saying it. You don't
so
wait.
191,
191,
194. So 194 is for the emergency vehicles, 191 is for the ambulance, the police.
And all that.
Okay.
So
great.
18555 is only critical. You see, the strategy is that we have all the 118 police regions. Police officers, police commands are there. There are divisions, there are districts, there are stations and squads all over Ghana. Certain political regions have been divided into two for effective policing, to partner with our stakeholders. So it's a matter of calling, and I'm telling you, we have to build the capacity of Ghanaians now. And the capacity building is that when you say 112, 191, 18555, you save it on your mobile phone.
Right. Emergency.
Because when there's a crash,
we only have 1 minute left, so you can
and therefore,
you.
So far as these numbers are, if you make a call, we expect that police will come and assist, because there are certain instances that we may not have the skill in handling the injured person. We rather exacerbate the injured and create more medical complications. And that's why these are there to support. These numbers, when you trigger, whatever that you require, just say it, where it has happened. It might be that you may also need, apart from the emergency medical service support that you need, or the people need, they may also need capacity of towing and recovery trucks to recover and open the public way for others to move and all that. When all these things are done, it also will allow space for police to prepare to come, to take over and investigate, and then to ensure that people's property are protected, and to ensure that after post-crash care for those who are injured are procured, and then insurance services that police is required to provide to all vehicle owners and vehicle owners. So this is there. What is required is that we must have the capacity to trigger or to call. Sometimes it's a matter of walking to the close by police station, okay, because of the location where the thing has happened, or giving a message to a vehicle that is passing,
right.
to inform the nearest police officer or nearest police station for them to trigger the process of proceeding to the scene to join other stakeholders, call, come, and support to save life and property and to open traffic for normal use of our roads.
Okay. So as I get your closing remarks, I wanted us to ponder on the sobering fact that the pandemic has killed less people than accidents on the road, and that is a very sobering fact for all of us here in Ghana. So if I could take your closing remarks, and then I'll come back to you, Superintendent. I'll start with you, Superintendent.
I think it is clear within the UN system that road safety, which is mobility without risk of harm or death, has become an albatross, and therefore we all of us must find a solution in computerizing this diurnal problem that is killing more, injuring more, and damaging more properties. And I'm not surprised that UN converged in Stockholm early last year to find another way of enhancing the capacity of the world and member states in solving the problem, which they tried to do from 2011 to 2020, of which much was not able to. They were not able to achieve.
So I've got to wrap up. So do you me a favor? Give me the numbers again, and then I'll go to engineer for his final remarks.
In times like this, whilst you are advocating for people to be responsible, we think that one way to support law enforcement is that when incident occur, it might be crash, it might be crime that is being committed and all that. 191 is very critical.
Okay.
18555 is very critical.
Okay.
And of course, General 1112, when you save these numbers, the state is prepared and has personnel who are working diurnally and nocturnally
round the clock
to receive the call and provide the necessary enforcement support. Because police, we are versatile on mobiles, on mobile vehicles. We are versatile on horseback as troopers. We are versatile with our canines. And we are at the back office monitoring our traffic sensors across the country, monitoring the roads and junctions to ensure that people don't take the law into their own hands.
30 seconds, please.
Oh, yes, I think that I want to thank the media in particular. So far, the partnership with the media is working. People are listening. It's going very far. It is my expectation that people will accept the challenge. Every Ghanaian must be a road safety advocate. Every Ghanaian. Because you are doing that to save your own life and save the life of your partner, your friend, your brother and sister. I'm imagining from tomorrow how many people are going to travel. I'm just imagining what will happen on our streets and our roads. It requires such responsibility and discipline.
For all of us.
All of us.
All right. Thank you so much to both of you, and thank you all of you for listening and watching. My guests were Engineer David Osafo-Adonting, Director of Planning and Programs at the National Road Safety Authority, and Superintendent Alexander Obeng, Director of Public Relations at the Ghana Police Service. I'm Dr. Anim, and this has been Talking Point. Let's be safe this holiday season. Thank you so much for listening and watching, and as always, good night, good luck, and please be safe. Good night.